Welcome back to another episode of Franchise Nutrition and Fitness Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm a registered dietitian.
And I'm Matt. I'm a certified personal trainer and health coach.
And together we make up Franchise Nutrition and Fitness. You can check out all of our previous episodes if you haven't already. Please do. You can also like, share, and subscribe, all of those things. Share all of them with all of your family and friends. Share them on all of your social media platforms. So that way people can understand where you're at in your personal health and fitness journey, your nutrition and fitness, what you're trying to go through. And then also you can help them in their nutrition and fitness journeys, to guiding them to better health as well. And if you want to go a step further, you go on over to franchisenutritionandfitness.com, click on the button on the top right. It'll take you down to the meet and greet. Sign up for your free meet and greet today. Get your started on your nutrition and fitness journey if you haven't already, or guide you along the way. Maybe make the path a little bit more straight than the squiggly line that it typically is.
Yeah, if you think it's fun listening to us talk, sign up for free and listen to us talk for 15 minutes. And don't just have us talk at you, talk with us and help us create that journey for you.
Yeah, it's going to be beneficial for everybody. The fun part about the meet and greet is we get to know you a little bit better too. And you can also get to know us a little bit better, a little bit more candidly than we are in here.
A little bit more intimate, if you will.
Yeah, one-on-one instead of one-on many.
The millions and millions of podcast listeners. So.
I will say, if you haven't, sorry, Mike.
That's very professional.
Yeah, very professional. But I will say that I look at our stats and everything. We are continuing to expand into other parts of the world. There are new countries that are on our list of listeners. I don't know who these people are because I don't know anyone that lives in those countries. But that's kind of the fun part about doing this, you know.
See, I hope we have new people that are watching too, because if you watch the video, like you see Ryan's often rocking a tank top. I'm not usually. I look at myself now and I'm like, with the blonde hair and the tattoos and the tank top, I'm like, I look like low rent Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh man, that's fun. The funny thing with Machine Gun Kelly is my wife doesn't know who he is at all. Like, she doesn't listen to pop music. She listens to more classic rock, and at this point in time, it was like very classic rock. It was like more like 70s rock and stuff. So he popped up in an ad for whatever new special he has on. I think it's on Hulu or something. I don't know, but it's called Life in Pink with Machine Gun Kelly. And she's like, "Who is this guy, and why should I care?" And I was like, "I don't know a lot about him, but I do know that he played Tommy Lee one time in a movie called The Dirt, and that's all that I really know."
When I saw Motley Crue back just over a month ago here in Atlanta, they played The Dirt, and they had him come out and do his verse from the song because he was playing the next night in Atlanta. So that was not a great set for Motley Crue, so probably the highlight of Crue's set. And that's coming from somebody whose favorite band is Motley Crue and who doesn't really care for Machine Gun Kelly. So there you go. There's my review.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good to know. But the great part with music and Machine Gun Kelly, Motley Crue, and him playing in The Dirt is that that's kind of close to what we were talking about today. A lot of people going from relatively different pieces of material to superheroes. So
absolutely, like if you're watching the visual, I'm rocking my Stark Industries tank top. Ryan's got his Punisher. See all the ink and necklace and everything. Humongous Batman fan. So yeah, like Comic-Con was literally this past weekend. I actually had some friends there working at Comic-Con. So yeah, all the rage now with comic book movies, obviously thanks to Marvel Studios, but we often see people that we like, people that we enjoy on the screen that have these body transformations that become literal superheroes. I don't know about you, Ryan. Like I grew up and like I idolized Hulk Hogan, I idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I idolized Batman. And so those were the physiques that I always wanted.
Yeah. So similar attractive people. Arnold, obviously, if you are person that's been in the gym and you are, I'll say like 30 years old and up, right? So specifically just for that age range, like your earlier childhood was action movies that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Hulk Hogan, like for when we're talking about big physiques kind of people. So there's also like why am I blanking on him?
Got like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that's the guy that I was like literally trying to. I was like, he was Guile in Street Fighter.
Clearly his greatest role. Clearly,
right.
When you think of Jean-Claude Van Damme, you have to think, all right, clearly the best movie ever in was Street Fighter.
Right. Well, I mean, it was at the same time as like T2. I don't remember exactly when Street Fighter came out, but
1994.
1994. Yeah, so 1992 was T2. And then like right before that, so Bloodsport for Jean-Claude Van Damme, but you didn't see his like physique as much as you did in that. And the same thing with like the Rocky movies for our father's generation of people, and Conan back in the 70s. Right. Like, right, all of those things, those huge physique guys, that they built their physiques more outside of the movie, and then they came into movies with a huge physique. Like,
yeah, whereas now, like everything we watch, like I know we were talking a little bit before we went on air and started recording, like the one that always stands out in my mind is Chris Pratt. Like, I love Chris Pratt. I think Chris Pratt's hilarious. I loved Parks and Rec. I think it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Never in my time of watching that TV show did I go, that guy's going to be the next big action hero, the next, like, and now he's Jurassic World, and not to mention Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, like, and like here he is, big action superhero. So yeah, like the transformation he went through, and you think about what he had to go through for that, and could I do that? Could you do that? Could our listeners, could our clients that we work with do that?
Right. And I think it's what a lot of people see now, people that are younger than us, and then also people that are the same age as us. Marvel is on its like 14th year of movie productions currently. I mean, I'm talking about like not released,
like the actual cinematic universe.
Yeah, like they've like been when Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., that was kind of like the kicking off point. We'll forget all of the other ones that came before that, but the current run of Kevin Feige led Marvel movies started before that movie was filmed. Okay, so even though that movie came out, 10 years ago, it's really been in production like 4 or 5 years before that, where they started seeking out who are they going to play, how are we going to do this, how are we going to structure this universe. And when they got Robert Downey Jr., was not a muscular man when they picked him up.
No, not at all.
And as you move forward, Chris Evans wasn't really like a big muscle guy before Captain America. Chris Hemsworth was like relatively skinny speaking, before he played Thor originally. And then as you continue to progress, Marvel's recruiting these people that are good actors, but they're like, the actors themselves, like, I need to be a superhero. I need to be what I saw on the comic book page. How close can I get to that? It's the joke Matt and I always have when we're as pro wrestlers, that people that are professional wrestlers grew up on comic books and all want to be superheroes.
Yeah, we all want to be guys in brightly colored spandex just saving the world, getting the adulation of everyone around us. So it's crazy to think how easily that was ingrained into our minds, like watching the X-Men cartoon and Batman the Animated Series, and sifting through these comic books and watching these Arnold action movies and realizing that that's kind of brought us to where we are today.
Yeah, I watched I can't remember which episode is it, but it's a part of an episode from Batman the Animated Series with my 3-year-old and my 1.5-year-old, right? So the crazy thing about it is now they just want to run around and act like they're Batman. And we'll just go like, my older son's 3.5, and when we were talking about it, it's like, that's not how it goes. The Batman team goes dun 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 dun, and I was like, oh, that is pretty good. You got that.
I mean, he does have he has the best version of the Batman theme.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh, Danny Elfman. Good job. But that's what we grew up on. And I don't know what current kids cartoons look like now for like the younger children, like ages 5 to 8, right? That's kind of what
I mean, are you wanting to grow up and be built like a dog from Paw Patrol? Is that how this works now? Yeah, I have.
yeah,
You're the one with kids. I don't know.
we currently watch the cartoons that they currently watch are like for like toddlers. So it's like 2 and 3. So they have like giant heads and like tiny little bodies. So it's not meant to be as, quote unquote, realistic as much as you could be back in the 90s with like Batman, the animated series, right? So it doesn't match up as well. But the people that are actors currently in those roles and these big Marvel productions, big DC productions, and all those things, they're similar ages to Matt and I. They grew up on the same things that we did. And so when they think superhero, those are the same things that they think. They think, I got to look like that. And most recently, the Eternals came out a couple of years ago, Marvel's Eternals, and Kamal Nanjiani. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry.
Sounds like the Office bit now.
I knew him originally from Silicon Valley,
which is a fantastic show, and he's an incredibly funny stand-up comedian, incredibly funny on that show.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I knew. But when he got hired on to do the Eternals, and he started working with Marvel, Marvel hired a registered dietitian and a personal trainer to work exclusively with him. And all he did was start focusing on those things. And he said it took 2 hours for him in a Men's Health article from March 2020 when he first started working with mine.
Hey, that was a good month. March 2020. Nothing significant happened then.
Yeah, nothing at all. As we talked about on the previous episodes of this podcast, time stopped, and so it hasn't even occurred. But in March 2020, that's when the article came out. So obviously this was written before that, because he had said in the article that it was a few years prior to that. So like in 2018, somebody had approached him to like, hey, we want you to work on Eternals. And he said, I was working with a guy who used to make fun of me for being doughy. And I was like, I could weigh another 50 pounds and like, this isn't going to work. Like if you want to gain 10 pounds, you have to change the way that you've been doing things. Like I gained 50 pounds to do what I've been doing, but it's not going to change anything. I have to have somebody work with me. So he got a different personal trainer that Marvel helped him get, and he got a registered dietitian to help him with his diet. And then he also got a chef that prepared all of his meals. And he said, sure, this transformation was possible if I did it more on my own, but it would have taken a longer amount of time. So, kind of an unrealistic expectation that he went from what he was in Silicon Valley to what he was in Eternals in a year span based off this article. But that transformation was exclusive to him. It was specifically tailored and designed for him, and he had all of the pieces stacked for him to be able to do.
I don't want to misquote him either, but I remember reading another article too that was along the lines of like the amount of work that he had to put into it wasn't worth it.
Yeah. So, and that's a crunch amount of time. And so we've talked about that previously. Like when you're thinking about goals, or you're thinking a long-term goal and a short-term goal, you have to set realistic expectations. And that's what Franchise Nutrition and Fitness does. That's what we do with people. That's what we do with clients, is help create realistic expectations, realistic goals, but then also build the plans to achieve those goals in a realistic amount of time.
Absolutely. Like you like he had a whole team of people that worked with him, and not a superhero, but a superhero in my eyes. Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia created it, plays Mac. if you watch the show, he went through multiple body transformations because he thought it would be funny for the characters to get fat instead of look better like they normally do on sitcoms. And like he said in an article for Men's Journal that it's hey, it's not that hard. All you need to do to get it done is lift weights 6 days a week, stop drinking alcohol, don't eat anything after 7 p.m., don't eat any carbs or sugar at all. In fact, just don't eat anything you like. Get the personal trainer from Magic Mike, sleep 9 hours a night, run 3 miles a day, and have a studio pay for the whole thing over a 6 to 7 month span. And these are the people we look at, like these are the people that you, I, and a lot of our listeners and clients look at and go, I want to look like him.
Right.
And then we wonder why we don't. And we wonder why we have a little bit of that body dysmorphia with it, and realize that, hey, we have families, we have friends, we have commitments, we have jobs, we have all these other things going on. I don't have that battery of people to help me out. But what you can have is you can work with us, you can work with a registered dietitian, you can work with a certified health coach and certified personal trainer. And if that is your goal, if you have that much commitment, that much time to put to it, we're here to help. If you don't have that much time, we can get you as close to your realistic, measurable, SMART goal that you have. So I think that's the main thing, is being, like you said, very realistic with those goals and understanding. We necessarily see on screen and on pages isn't what's necessarily fit into our lifestyles.
Yeah, I was really looking back at, it's too far for me to reach off camera right now, but what we in the fitness world call the Bible of bodybuilding, which is Arnold's New Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, which is now old and dated. With it,
mine's sitting right over there. Yep, that's
yeah, I love it. You can still reference it. Kind of the beautiful thing about it is that some of the references that are old and dated in there that don't necessarily apply aren't necessary. It's kind of the big section that's all the exercises in the back. That's like the really thick part of it, is like, and these are all the arm exercises. These are all the shoulder exercises. And those things actually still apply. Those are timeless. You can't get away from joint angles. That's kind of the,
I was gonna say, yeah, anatomy, physiology, kinesiology does not change. Like we've known that stuff for quite a while.
Yeah, and some of the things that he popularizes in there is multi-sets of workouts, and partial rep ranges, and he doesn't do as much of the pause reps in the book. I read the whole thing.
Right. No, I've read it cover to cover multiple times.
He doesn't do a lot of the other stuff that we've learned. That's what I'm saying, like the parts that are a little bit dated. Some of the other ways that you can manipulate your time in a workout scenario to get a greater effect of your workout on a smaller amount of time, right? So we're talking about these Marvel stars. They're being paid whatever it is that Marvel's paying them, and Marvel's providing with them all the stuff. But their workouts, they're doing like 2 or 3 workouts in a day. All of them complain about it. Whenever you see the interviews, they're all talking about like how much they had to eat, how much they had to work out. And they said, this is not sustainable. It's not something you can do forever. And that's not what we like to set up with clients. We'd like to set up clients on, as Matt said before, activities that can last a lifetime, and building a healthy relationship with food. So that way, beyond working with franchise nutrition fitness, you can still maintain all of the things that you gained and also continue to grow in whatever direction that you want to grow in, whether it's you want to lose some weight or you want to build some muscle or do the variation that's in between there. This is what we do. This is how we help people. We help people achieve their own superhero physique, just in the way that can be most achievable for them.
Absolutely. It's like I always kind of laugh a little bit. You'll hear people say, like, that have never really done any sort of strength training routine. And they're like, I really don't want to bulk up. That's not how I want to look. Nobody bulked up on accident. You'll get clients. I don't want to look like Arnold. Like, okay, like let's work out 3 days a week for 30 minutes, full body. I'm pretty sure you're not going to look like Arnold. If you do, I'm going to be very angry, because I'm obviously teaching you something that I haven't been able to do, because I would love to look like Arnold. So
those newbie gains, it's gonna work out. They might get huge and jacked. You never know. Especially like if they've never done any exercise regimen ever before. They might just get, it's like all those things that people are like, I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. Like, you did absolutely nothing before that 30 days. I know that's true. Uh, but oh yeah, kind of the funny thing with walking through like the Marvel stars, like 6 months, if they're doing 2 workouts a day and eating everything they're eating, and they're making all these transformations inside of 6 months to a year, for somebody that doesn't have that ability to work out twice a day, have all their meals catered for them, all those things, it's probably going to take you twice as long to make those things. Like it's not going to be
Minimum, yeah.
not going to be 6 months. If you can't work out twice a day, you can only work out once a day. That's going to at least be a year, if not more. When Matt and I started wrestling, we started at different times. When we first noticed changes, I know for myself, like it didn't happen in 6 months. Like I definitely had quick changes in 6 months, but like the majority of things that when people complimented me on the way that my body had changed from the beginning was years.
Yeah. Like, and I started fairly young and didn't have the expertise that I have now. Didn't have the expertise of somebody else like helping me out. So I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants and reading the little bit of information that was out there. So I got kind of skinny fat before anything else because I was a fat kid and dropped a bunch of weight and then learned how to, change change my body composition. So yeah, but it took forever to get to where I wanted to be. And it's still kind of a ever evolving process.
Yeah, but structuring the plan around your life and all of those things, like the how do you eat when you have to work 2 jobs? How do you squeeze a workout in when you're a student and you have a part-time job? How do you do those things when you have to travel on the road? Right, like we've done all of those things. We've had all of those questions and positions and created plans and structures, so that way they can be easily implemented and make you maximally successful. And that's what we do. That's what
Absolutely.
Fitness
Yeah,
does.
no, it's that combination of training and expertise with real world experience. Like, hey, we haven't existed in a vacuum. Like we understand what you're going through. We understand how to build those programs around your lifestyle because we've been there and we are there. So we're happy to help do that.
Yeah. But I will say, so we've done we've both mentioned it already, that we did stuff out of Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. Have you ever looked up one of these like Marvel transformation workouts and tried to work through one of them yourself?
So the problem I always run into to ever looking anything like that up is like I feel like a lot of the stuff you find in the popular magazines isn't necessarily the real workout that they did because a lot of times there's not a whole lot to it. That's not too bad. Like no, they're gearing that towards the reader, but the only one I've never read the Marvel movies. I always liked the Rock's Hercules workout he did for that movie. But like The Rock's already a freak in so many different ways. So, so I think as far as like body transformation, because he transformed so much. Body transformation of as far as for movie roles, I think that's the only one I've really kind of geared towards.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Rock, the Hercules workout, that was awesome. And he posted one, like he himself posted like some of the stuff that he was doing.
And that's why I like a lot of his stuff is I get it directly from him because like if you look in magazines, you're like 3 sets of 10 on 3 different exercises. No, you didn't. Like,
yeah, like come on, I know that you did something different. I really appreciated what's his name? It's not Marvel movie, but Matt Damon in his transformation for the Bourne movies, because he had just done I can't remember what movie. It was another like kind of action movie for him, and he got like kind of dysfunctional doing the movie. Like he hurt himself a couple of different times and just kept trying to film while he was doing it. And so they had to like retool his workouts. He just did like a lot of body weight, kind of strength training exercises, and then slowly worked his way back into using like some like low weight free weights like dumbbells, kettlebells, that kind of thing. But there was I can't remember. I can see his face now. It doesn't really matter. It was one of the people. He was in a Marvel movie, but he wasn't mean, I really want to. He was Brolin, the guy that plays Thanos.
Yeah, so that's you're literally sitting there snapping. That's
he did this thing.
That guy.
This is an important part.
Yeah, the guy that wiped out half the population. Just that guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't that big of a deal.
But he said that he he's a lot older, or I don't want to say a lot older, but he's older than most of the other Marvel stars. And he talked about that, like he can't do like heavy weights anymore because his joints hurt. So he has to be really mindful about how he's lifting and stuff like that. And so when he went to Marvel, they wanted him to get it bigger. They were obviously Thanos has like a suit on top of his body, but they don't like Marvel's not going to spend so much money trying to make like a really huge CG suit on top of him. They're going to try and use his body as most as they can.
So they're not going to do what DC did for Robert Pattinson with the suit and the Batman, since he didn't want to work out. Gotcha.
Right. Well, I mean, so like James Brolin was like already a pretty big guy, and so they're like, we're going to bulk you up a little bit, but they talked about it. I remember the interview is that the body form, if they made it so big, he was talking about it as like it would get too heavy and like he wouldn't have been able to like move in it. They'd have to use more CG stuff. And he said then it was
not only the aesthetic, but like the functional aspect of having to be strong enough to make sure you could carry a suit that looked like that.
Right. So they did a lot of CGI stuff, but he still had to have, like he said, I had to have like hands so that they could put a form on my hand and my forearm, and I had to be strong enough to be able to hold up this huge hand, like walk around to these other kind of more animatronic movements. He said, so he just did like a bunch of stuff with kettlebells. Like he would like go to like whatever sets and he just like had, I was like, just body weight, like warm up right before he gets started and all of those things. So I've been looking up a lot of kettlebell stuff because it's just easier for me just to try to squeeze something in. Matt and I were joking earlier. I finally finished that damn fence that I've been building for like a month. And so now I can unearth my gym in my garage because now I don't have to have like that as a storage place anymore. Now I can actually put all the stuff that's taking up the space in my garage for that fence outside instead of the locked fence. So like, yay, people won't walk off with all my stuff. That's really more of the concern that I have, is like somebody's gonna steal this stuff. And I wouldn't even know, be like, oh, suddenly I'm missing a couple of 2x4s. Didn't realize they didn't really walk.
Thought I got enough of those, but apparently I didn't.
Yeah. So, but either way, that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. Making transformations and doing things that can work on getting you so that way you're doing activities that last a lifetime and better your health and better your nutrition and fitness. So if you ever want to try and look like a superhero yourself, kind of like me and Matt have been trying to be like superheroes all the time, head on over to franchisenutritionandfitness.com, sign up for your free meet and greet today. If you have questions about anything we referenced in this podcast or in our previous podcast, also on franchisenutritionandfitness.com, click the contact us link at the bottom, send us the questions, your thoughts and comments. We're happy to talk with you about them. Maybe we'll come up with those thoughts and topics on a future podcast. But either way, like we say every time, every single day, maximize every bite, maximize every rep.